Hello and welcome to Cardio Chats. This is a new experimental series that I'm going to be conducting where it's basically just going to be me doing my cardio because I'm honestly really bad at sticking to it. Normally, by the time I'm done with my gym sessions and doing the recordings and everything, I just do an additional couple of exercises after the recordings, and then I like to hit the sauna and then get the hell out of there because I do work out anywhere between like 5 and 7 times a week. So it's quite a bit of activity on top of my regular job that I have as well. So I get pretty fatigued and I get like kind of overwhelmed sometimes. And therefore the cardio tends to fall by the wayside because it is not as important to my goals. But I want my channel and everything to just be fitness oriented. I want it to be all about fitness and health and wellness and just how to improve ourselves and become the best versions of ourselves. And it's not only, I've talked about this endlessly, but it's not only like a journey for me to become the best lifter and athlete and everything that I possibly can, but also to educate you guys and kind of help you along your own journey as well. So whatever can help me stick to my cardio, I think is going to be a great thing. And in terms of the lifting content, by just bringing my camera to the gym and pressing record, my consistency in the gym has increased like 100-fold. Well, maybe that may be kind of an exaggeration, but it's definitely like doubled in terms of consistency and even effort too, because when I'm pressing record and I'm showing you guys all these exercises and talking with my brain and everything, then I am more inclined to go really hard to show you guys what I'm made out of and not miss days and just be the best lifter that I possibly can. So hopefully this series can help me stick to it. But honestly, it's experimental because basically all it is that I'm doing is like a solo podcast episode, except instead of being in a studio with like a fancy mic and everything and having another guest or whatever, I'm just at the gym getting my cardio done and talking to you guys one-on-one. So let me know if any of you actually watch it and like it, then tell me why you like it, ways that it can improve, et cetera, et cetera. And honestly, I don't really plan to come in here with any like strict topics or anything. I'm kind of letting it be like a free flowing sort of journal in a sense. It's almost like a live journal or meditation where I'm just kind of letting my thoughts flow while I get my cardio done. And that's all there really is to it. Of course, it's probably going to be focusing mainly on fitness and health topics just because that's kind of where my channel is geared. But I'd like to kind of dabble in any of my interests and even some of yours if you'd like me to talk about anything in particular. So I like to be kind of transparent with you guys. This is my normal uploading schedule where I'll film the videos, edit them, export them. That takes a tremendous amount of time, usually like about 4 hours a day. And that's not even including the export process and the uploading process, which can take some additional time. So it takes a lot. So basically what I do is if I were to film like on Monday, then I'll schedule it for the following Monday just so that I can keep things really rigid and you guys kind of know when there's an upload. Well, recently I kind of went through a tragedy while I was at the gym. I hadn't even done one set yet. I was just going to film like the game plan portion of the episode. My tripod gave out and then my camera fell and it fell on turf. So if I was going to be okay, I just heard a pop, and then I look around and my whole tripod fell and the camera and the lens ended up breaking. And at this point, my girlfriend was borrowing my car because hers was in the shop. So she was using it for work. It was my day off and I couldn't find a ride. So I ended up lifting 20 minutes to the nearest camera store. And they basically told me this thing's unfixable. So you should try and go through warranty, go through my lens manufacturer, Sigma. So I ended up calling up Sigma and they gave me return instructions and everything. I ended up lifting back, sending it through, and then our dishwasher ended up breaking. And then the next day, one of our cats actually tragically passed away. She had a blood clot in one of the heart arteries, and the first two hospitals were closed. Anyway, I'm rambling here, but what I'm trying to say is I had a series of unfortunate events, and therefore I'm sure that you noticed that I'm filming on a different lens right now. I ordered a new lens online, and they ended up shipping me the wrong one. It's not even the lens that I wanted. So I'm going to end up returning this one. And then additionally, Sigma wants an additional $350 to repair the lens. So I guess the warranty isn't really in the cards for me. All that being stated, I'm choosing to upload these videos as soon as I can instead of waiting the full week, because I don't want to lose this momentum. I feel like I've had really good momentum recently. A couple of you guys have said that you like the new format, you like the videos, and I just feel like I've been doing so good, and I don't want all of these tragedies, essentially. Like when Nala, our cat, died, I could hardly get out of bed, and it was Thanksgiving, and I was just in bed, depressed. It was really rough. So I'm trying my best to get back on track, and whether it means sacrificing some quality for a new lens or implementing this new unexpected probably series just to kind of mix some things up, I think that I really need it. I think that it's much needed, and I'm hoping that it ends up having some payoff at the end of the day. So today, I don't know if you could tell that I'm in the same gym as the chest video. The chest video should be coming out first. We at chest, it was all about the scientific anatomical structure of the chest, the biomechanics, and I really ran down the functions of how the chest is humeral adduction and humeral flexion, how it's really closing those joints, that joint. And I really do believe that, a lot of lifters, there's like the bro camp, but then we got like the scientific community. Why can't we all be friends? First of all, but I think that either camp probably has a lot to learn from each other at the end of the day. Like, even if you think that your body knows best, like you're a bro lifter, you've been doing it the same way for 20 years, and nothing wrong with that as long as you're still making progress. Everybody's body's a little different. Everybody's preferences are a little bit different. I still think that you should listen to the data, because at the end of the day, the scientific data is the real deal, because they've actually tested this stuff. But what's really funny to me is when like the bro lifters or whatever, like the bodybuilders and stuff, when they get everything right and then the science comes along and just proves them correct. That's kind of like where science meets real world experience, and it just blossoms into this amazing thing. So that's kind of how I tend to approach my own training. Though I do have a major in kinesiology. I went to school for this specific field. I don't think that you can learn everything just from the science alone. You, of course, need to go in there and put in the work for yourself and find out what you like at the end of the day. Today, if you watched the video or if you saw the video, I just used cables. And a lot of people may say, oh, that's wrong. Cables aren't worth it. Cables are too unstable. You can't put up as much weight, stuff like that. And I agree with those points. It's true. It's totally true. You're more unstable with a cable machine than you would be if you had a fixed barbell or like a plate loaded machine or something along those lines. But that doesn't invalidate the fact that the cable exercise is still great in different regards. It's just all about combining it and finding the equilibrium in your own training and finding your own personal preferences. So what am I trying to get at this whole rant that I'm going on? I'm trying to say that you shouldn't just listen to one camp or the other. You should take principles of each, really go out, you use all the scientific data that you hear or you research online, or you read about, take that into account. But you, at the end of the day, the weights aren't going to lift themselves. Your muscles aren't just going to magically grow. There's no just pill, at least not yet, that you can just ingest and then have it all like magically. You turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger or Chris Bumstead or something. You need to actually be putting in the work, and that's where science meets practical. Bro body. I really like the term bro. Is there a better term for that? I don't know. So that's how I approach kind of my lifting. And then in terms of what I'm doing right now, the whole cardio chat thing, I'm choosing this form of cardio, a stationary bike, for a couple of reasons. One is that running with my camera is just going to lead to more braking. I'm just going to end up dropping it. It's going to shatter. I'm never going to be able to do this YouTube thing again. No, I mean, even if I were super careful with it, if I get a GoPro or whatever, running with a device is just so challenging. It's just going to there's too much going on when you're running. You're using every portion of your body. You're using your arms, you're using your hips, you're using your knee joint, you're using your ankles, doing a lot of dorsiflexion, all that jazz. There's a lot going on into running. Additionally, running is very difficult and it's very impractical to have a device. So that kind of takes that out of the picture, unfortunately. Maybe eventually in the future, I could get a cameraman, a camerawoman in a car or something like that. But still, that still seems kind of like a lot. So I'm choosing a stationary bike for the reasons of I'm in one place, I can set up my camera on a tripod, and then that makes it really, really easy. But additionally, I like that you can kind of set the intensity level and you can actually see exactly how much time you're doing. And by setting the intensity and kind of doing your own pace, makes it easier to talk. And one of the criteria for reaching zone 2 cardio is that a good way of figuring it out, besides having a VO2 max test or something along those lines, is can you talk? Because if you can't talk, then you're going too intensely, and then that'll take it out of zone 2 into a different zone, zone 3, zone 4, zone 5, whatever. And zone 2 has been shown time and time again to lead to the longest longevity benefits. My channel kind of started more so geared towards health and wellness and longevity and just general practices like that. And over time became more of a lifting channel. And that's not a bad thing by any means. I mean, I love both with all my heart, but lifting is my first love in terms of these hobbies. So I kind of let the other stuff go by the wayside, but the bottom line is that I want to get around 150 minutes of that moderate intensity or so. I think it's 150 to 300 is the guidelines for people to be really healthy. So I'm going to try and hit that. That's going to come out to around 30 or more minutes a day. What would that be? 30 minutes 5 times a week. I think it's 150, right? And I'm purposefully programming it so that I'm doing a back, chest, legs, and then shoulder, arm split. So it's a 4-day split, and I'm trying to go 7 days a week. So that's around a 1.75 frequency, something along those lines. So it's pretty much, but since I'm doing an 8-day routine, I'm subtracting 2 of those in terms of cardio, because on leg days, I don't feel like I really need cardio. I think that legs, you really got to find that next level, that extra gear for legs. So if you're doing it right, which I'm not the best example, but I'm trying to be in terms of leg intensity. If you're doing it right, then I feel like you shouldn't really be able to walk after. You're really going to be destroyed. And I think the last thing that you would want to do is hop on a cardio machine and crank out 30 minutes of anything. You just probably want to go home, and go into rest and digest, sleepy time land, where you just eat a ton of food, watch some TV, whatever floats your boat, whatever gets you super relaxed. So what I'm getting at is I'm not going to do my cardio on leg days. I'll do it the rest of the days, which should be about roughly 4.5, 5 sessions a week. I'm going to be doing it for about 30 minutes. Maybe I'll crank it up to more. You can also set some levels on this thing. I'll probably end up changing up the cardio machines just depending on, if I get bored of the bike, I'll go and do like an incline walk, or I'll do like, the elliptical or whatever I got at whatever gym. And that's kind of a good segue to talk about cardio machines. There's no special thing. You just want to be working your cardiovascular system. How do you work your cardiovascular system? Well, is your heart beating faster? Are you breathing a little heavier? Is your blood pumping? Those are all signs that you're working your cardiovascular system. Are you kind of out of breath? Your lungs are working. As long as you're doing all of those things, and if you can still talk, then you're working that zone 2 cardio. And the other variables don't matter as much. Whether you're walking on a steep incline, whether you're going for a light jog, whether you're doing like sprinting intervals, that's not going to be zone 2, but that's still a form of cardio. Well, you're doing a bike, anything that's hitting those variables, getting your heart rate up, getting your lungs working overtime, getting some blood flow pumping, stuff like that, then that's going to be mimicking the cardiovascular effects that you want. So I think that a lot of people, they tend to overthink things. They're like, oh, if I'm not running, then it's not cardio. Well, that's just not the case. In fact, I made a whole video, maybe 8 months ago, something crazy. It was a long time ago, all about the sauna. I did a ton of research, guys. I read a ton of different review articles. I watched a ton of videos. I listened to podcasts. And I did a ton of actual sauna work. Like I would go into the sauna at least like 6 times a week for like 15 to 20 minutes. And first of all, if you're not using the sauna, you guys got to use the sauna. It's like, you can't beat it. It's the best, in my opinion. Maybe, if you just really hate getting hot, then maybe the sauna is not for you. But let me give you a little synopsis. The sauna mimics cardiovascular exercise. It does everything that I just described, except you're not moving. You're not moving at all. It's just bringing your body, it's just tricking your body. And there's actually a real benefit of the sauna over cardiovascular exercise such as this. And that's that there's no limb movement. You're not contracting your muscles. You're not moving your joints. And therefore, if you are an older individual and maybe you have some banged up joints, and that messes with you a lot, then the sauna is probably your best bet in terms of cardiovascular fitness, because it's not moving your joints, but you're still getting all of those benefits. Now, I'm not saying that you can completely replace cardio with the sauna, though you can certainly get close. I still think that the cardio in any facet is irreplaceable. People have been doing this forever for a reason, guys. And I think that it can definitely be a form of like supplemental light cardio if you don't have time, or if you just want some additional benefits. Like, I'm going to be in the sauna after this for sure. However, you're going to have to really stay in the sauna for a substantial amount of time at a substantial heat for it to really replace your cardio. So additionally, I have a theory, and it's not really proven by science, at least not yet, that the sauna can aid in muscle growth and just all the primary benefits that we get out of lifting by doing the sauna directly after. And here's my rationale. When you hit a cold plunge, your blood vessels vasoconstrict. And that's basically, think of this as like the blood vessel wall. It's going to go like this, and it's going to turn really, really tiny. And it's going to be hard to pump the blood throughout your system. And what do muscles need? They need that blood flow. They need those nutrients to get that protein synthesis going and repair and get stronger. This vasoconstriction is great for inflammation. It's going to reduce inflammation a lot. But It's terrible for muscle growth. And this is reinforced in the literature. Everything I've seen on the cold plunge, they show that there's like a substantial reduction in muscular hypertrophy. It helps you recover in the sense of it's removing the inflammatory response, but the inflammatory response is in of itself hypertrophic as well. So yes, it's going to make you feel better. It's going to let you like hit your next session quicker, but at what cost, guys? There's a huge cost associated with that, and that's that it's basically removing a ton of the effort that you put into the gym in the first place. And on top of that, jumping into an ice bath or a cold shower fucking sucks. Pardon my language, but it's really, really challenging. Even if you just go in for something like 2 minutes, it's still gonna suck. But on the flip side of this coin, we have the sauna. And what is a sauna? It's the opposite of the cold exposure. Instead of vasoconstricting, you're going to be vasodilating like this. And then we're actually increasing that blood flow. And likely the opposite response is going to come true, where it's actually going to aid in muscular hypertrophy and all those good things associated, which are a byproduct of kicking ass in the gym. Now, my theory is not proven by science. I don't have any data to back this up just because not many people have really studied this, especially non-trained. Have you noticed that like all research papers are in untrained individuals? Well, beginners grow from freaking anything. You have them look at a weight for entirely too long. They're gonna get freaking huge. So that's just something to keep into account when you're looking at the scientific studies and all the new research and how to implement it into your routine and all that jazz. Look at the sample size. Make sure it's like over 50. Like make sure it's a substantial sample size, because there can always be that chance of some confounding variable or just like some outliers that are messing with the data. So the bigger the sample size, the less of a influence that is going to ultimately have. So look at the sample size and also look at the population. Is this untrained or trained individuals? Do they have any prior issues? Do they have disabilities? What age are they? Make sure they're kind of fitting your demographic. So if you're untrained, yeah, it's going to work for you. If you're like 18 to 36, whatever zone, yeah, it's going to work for you. But if it's like an elderly population of or trained individuals or whatever, then maybe that research study isn't for you. So anyways, I think that this is going to do it. I'm almost at time. But this was the first episode of Cardio Chats. And by the way, I'm not going to guarantee that I'll be talking for, we're at 25 minutes and like 50 seconds right now. I'm not going to guarantee that I'll be talking for a full 30 minutes every time. It's totally just going to depend on what I got in me, what I want to say. If I don't want to say anything, if I have nothing that I feel like saying, then I may just do cardio without uploading a video. If I want to say a ton, then maybe I'll even go above 30 minutes and I'll end up doing like 45 or an hour. And if these videos are just really doing badly, then maybe I just won't do it at all. We'll just have to see how it goes, how you guys respond, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, have a good one. Bye.